The head constable avoided his officer's gaze. You are an ass of some place, he repeated with greater vehemence. Have you no brains at all? Cherisher of the poor, what fault have I? Shut up! The head constable started looking at his feet. The sub-inspector let his temper cool. He had to face Hukum Chand, who relied on him and did not expect to be let down. After some thought, the sub-inspector peered through the wire gauze door. Have I permission to enter? Come in, Inspector Sahab, Hukum Chand replied. Do not wait on formalities. The sub-inspector went in and saluted. Well, what have you been doing? Asked the magistrate. He was rubbing cream on his freshly shaven chin. In a tumbler on the dressing table, a flat white tablet danced about the bottom, sending up a stream of bubbles. Sir, we have made 2 arrests this morning. One is Jagga Badmash. He was out of his house on the night of the Dakati. We are bound to get some information out of him. The other is a stranger whose presence had been reported by the headman and you ordered him to be arrested. Hukum Chand stopped rubbing his chin. He detected the attempt to pass off the second arrest on to him. Who is he? The inspector shouted to the head constable outside. What is the name of the fellow you arrested at the Sikh temple? Iqbal. Iqbal what? Questioned the magistrate loudly. I will just find out, sir. The head constable ran across to the servants' quarter before the magistrate could let fly at him. Hukum Chand felt his temper rising. He took a sip out of his glass. The sub-inspector shuffled uneasily. The head constable came back a few minutes later and coughed to announce his return. Sir, he coughed again. Sir, he can read and write. He is educated. The magistrate turned to the door angrily. Has he a father and mother of faith or not? Educated. Sir, faltered the head constable. He refuses to tell us his father's name and says he has no religion. He says he will speak to you himself. Go and find out, roared the magistrate. Whip him on his buttocks till he talks. Go. No, wait. The sub-inspector Sahab will handle this. Hukum Chand was in a rage. He gulped down the fizzing water in the tumbler and mopped his head with a shaving towel. A belch relieved him of his mounting wrath. Nice fellows, you and your policemen. You go and arrest people without finding out their names, parentage or caste. You make me sign blank warrants of arrest. Someday you will arrest the governor and say Hukum Chand ordered you to do so. You will have me dismissed. Cherisher of the poor, I will go and look into this. This man came to Manu Majra yesterday. I will find out his antecedents in business. Well then, go and find out. And do not just stand and stare, barked Hukum Chand. He was not in the habit of losing his temper or of being rude. After the sub-inspector had left, he examined his tongue in the mirror and put another tablet of seltzer in the tumbler. The sub-inspector went out and stopped on the veranda to take a few deep breaths. The magistrate's wrath decided his attitude. He would have to take a strong line and finish the shilly-shallying. He went to the servants' quarters. Iqbal and his escort stood apart from Jagat Singh's crowd. The young man had a look of injured dignity. The sub-inspector thought it best not to speak to him. Search this man's clothes, take him inside one of the quarters and strip him. I will examine them myself. Iqbal's planned speech remained undelivered. The constable almost dragged him by the handcuffs into a room. His resistance had gone. He took off his shirt and handed it to the policeman. The sub-inspector came in and without bothering to examine the shirt ordered, Take off your pajamas. Iqbal felt humiliated. There was no fight left in him. There are no pockets to the pajama. I cannot hide anything in there. Take them off and do not argue. The sub-inspector slapped his khaki trousers with his swagger stick to emphasize the order. Iqbal loosened the knot in the cord. The pajamas fell in a heap around his ankles. He was naked, save for the handcuffs on his wrist. He stepped out the pajamas to let the policeman examine them. No, that is not necessary, broke in the sub-inspector. I have seen all I wanted to see. You can put on your clothes. You say you are a social worker. What is your business in Manu Majra? I was sent by my party, answered Iqbal, retying the knot in the cord of his pajamas. What party? People's Party of India. The sub-inspector looked at Iqbal with a sinister smile. The People's Party of India, he repeated slowly, pronouncing each word distinctly. You are sure it was not the Muslim League? Iqbal did not catch the significance of the question. No, why should I be the member of the Muslim League? The sub-inspector walked out of the room before Iqbal had finished his sentence. He ordered the constables to take the prisoners to the police station. He went back to the rest house to report his discovery to the magistrate. There was an obsequious smile on his face. Cherisher of the poor, it is all right. He says he has been sent by the People's Party, but I am sure he is a Muslim leaguer. They are much the same. We would have had to arrest him in any case if he was up to mischief so near the border. We can charge him with something or other later. How do you know he is a Muslim leaguer? The sub-inspector smiled confidently. I had him stripped. Hukum Chand shook his glass to churn the dregs of chalk at the bottom and slowly drank up the remaining portion of the seltzer. He looked thoughtfully into the empty tumbler and added, fill in the warrant of arrest correctly. Name, Muhammad Iqbal, son of Muhammad something or other, or just father unknown. Caste, Musalman. Occupation, Muslim League worker. The sub-inspector saluted dramatically. Wait. Do not leave things half undone. Enter in your police diary words to the effect that Ramlal's murderers have not yet been traced, but that information about them is expected soon. Didn't you say Jaga had something to do with it? Yes, sir. The dacoits threw glass bangles in its courtyard before leaving. Apparently, he had refused to join them in their venture. Well, get the names out of him quickly. Beat him if necessary. The sub-inspector smiled. I will get the names of the dacoits out of him in 24 hours and without any beating. Yes, get them in any way you like, answered Hukumchand impatiently. Also enter today's two arrests on separate pages of the police station diary with other items in between. Do not let there be any more bungling. The sub-inspector saluted again. I will take good care, sir.